NRG playing on their choice of split, but Beast Coast coming back onto Haven, they snap back in a major way. 13-4 there in their favor. And we've already kind of framed up some of the pros and cons for both of these squads so far through Ascent. It just comes down to, on the map, who performs and who is able to then qualify because of it.
I guess the good news for Beast Coast is you're playing pretty much the same composition.
That's true.
eeiu, it's a little bit... No, it's the same as it was. I was expecting maybe some other changes here or there, but it's the same comps that they played on Haven. And considering that Haven was the map that NRG were able to take from FaZe, and this was the map that they ended up losing in the end, there's a certain dread in the air, I suppose, if you're NRG. It is a completely different game. Things aren't really necessarily set in stone that way when it comes to map preferential, I guess it would be. But a great start on this defense would be key. They won the coin flip. They're going to be defending first. And it's fair to say that they need to have, at least going into halftime, more than 6-all, I think. The more that they can get done in this half, the better, because that was kind of another area, I suppose, from the previous game with FaZe Clan that ended up catching him out.
You want to hear some tragic stats there, Ryan?
Here we go.
With the 13-0 loss to Complexity and the 13-3 loss to FaZe Clan, they only averaged 34% win rate on attack and 37% win rate on defense. They're talking about NRG specifically. Yeah, talking about NRG there. So that's going to have to change. And how about this? A lot of information right off of daps as the push was just a collapse hit from a tree. The spike will be dropped in this position. And now jammyz from the backside has to be responsible for a couple of kills. He'll only grab one. And how about this little innovative strategy for NRG to steal away the pistol late? Well, likely. You've got TiGG who's still nearby, but this is going to be really hard pressed for him to come through this crossfire for getting the spike in hand.
He's going to play around the turret to use it as bait more than anything. Try to draw out a few of the shots, but it's going to be very difficult to get this spike back with how it's been watched. You got the Omen sort of checking in behind you. You could sneak through market, but it's not likely that that's going to be able to do much. A slow burner from Beast Coast to try and pull this back. The turret, he's trying to find a way to position it, but I'm more curious to know where he's going to place it at this point. Left. It does get put down, but he is going to sort of face it to jammyz at this point. Now the swarm's going to clear him. He is going to run actually into daps. This is intense.
He's got
He's actually brought it in if he gets the Omen. Oh my God, can you imagine? effys puts it down.
For the entire time that he was trying to play with that turret, I was like, you could do almost the exact same thing with the nanostorm, just in the right corner. And I think if he were to take that play back, he probably tosses that nanostorm to the right corner because there is no high ground to get away from it. But regardless, gives himself a hell of a look at a 1v3 that he had no business winning. NRG will still win the pistol. And with Beast Coast not being able to get the spike planted, they'll just stay on classics with one sheriff upgrade.
And if there's a time for NRG to use some of those strategies like we just saw, it's now. They might not even see the light of day for first strike if they're holding on to any certain plays. But it's the same for Beast Coast. This is a nice time to prove that you're worth something at this point. Some decent results in the tier 2 scene, but going up against one that's questionably tier 1. Maybe at NRG's point. TiGG, though, breaks in. effys position giving up. daps is going to be there with a camera, but could be pushed on very quickly if he's not careful. 4 players considering just sort of standing there and pushing him, but instead, spike is going to get planted as eeiu gets to choke that kill nicely onto TiGG.
Yeah, you saw Beast Coast really wanted that Spectre, but daps was primed to line everything up, and these kills through the smokes have been incredible. Shrouded Step!
Again!
Nobody reads bdog a second time! He's so darn slippery. So now eeiu has to make a play forward. He's got a low health pool on jammyz in front of him, but is having a hard time locking down this gunfight. And the longer you wait, the less time you have to try to figure out where exactly you're going to see from Elevate's point of view. 1v1
Does he have any utility?
No utility for eeiu at least. And Elevate will just peek around the corner, get a right click, and a thrifty round for Beast Coast. Good grief.
So great play there from Beast Coast. TiGG just opening it up with that sheriff kill was pretty much enough that Beast Coast needed to work with. But it's safe to say you cannot afford to give these rounds away if you're NRG. it happened on Haven. They were able to take that first pistol, and now they're in a position where on Haven they forced and were able to get that round. Now it doesn't really look like they're doing much with their economy here. A Killjoy ultimate is good to go for Beast Coast already. They might plant it on B. There is going to be a potential face from KOLER in this spot, but the majority of Beast Coast position more mid and A.
This peak is going to be a big one here if KOLER gets a chance, but TiGG hiding in a corner was just waiting for the sentry turret. Oh, and as it activates, the wide swing comes and TiGG walks away with 2 big kills. Beast Coast now having known they've cleared off defenders ever towards the B site. They'll go ahead and follow up behind TiGG, who closes the door on any possible defensive rotation through mid-market. And they're going to get information that eeiu is playing in this dark cover. Nanoswarm will be used most likely. And there it gets placed. On the site itself is Som. How many is he good for? None. So now it's down to a 2v5.
Near enough flawless. Another ultimate is online with a Blade Storm. TiGG gets the 3rd. He's having a great all-round so far.
Good grief.
Near enough the ace into the save round for eeiu. NRG is not going to be able to do all that much in this case. You got to respect NRG trying to make a play work, but look at that. It's just, he had the right idea. TiGG just able to snap to. Playing off the turret, it's been a thing that a lot of teams have done for quite some time. There's a nice little video from Plat Chat on that, actually, specifically.
This is gonna be fun.
There is a Killjoy ultimate good to go from Beast Coast, but I guess the main thing is eeiu has that Hunter's Fury. Is he going to use it instantly?
Seems for now he'll restrain himself. Beast Coast setting up just as they normally would, but with a little bit of a difference as TiGG has got a lockdown to play with. Sentry turret will be placed and instantly deleted. So now all of a sudden, how do you clear through A long if you're Beast Coast, if you do at all? Do you just sit here and essentially just say that we're not interested, or do you try to wrap back around and see if you can swing these defenders off the angle? They've successfully done the latter of those two things, but it just comes down to, are you going to commit?
NRG taking a step back more than anything. They back off of the angles, but now re-engaging more so on tree with the Eldron. Is it going to spot the Omen? It is. He's going to just not dismiss. He's going to back off a little bit. A lot of space, but NRG is so scared. They're playing pretty much at the defensive spawn at this point, allowing Beast Coast, because of that Killjoy ult, to give them that space. Som now, though, is in a really difficult spot. The Hunter's Fury is actually going to be dedicated to clear it. Might not have even really been necessary, but it's just a position that NRG was stuck in. They wanted to try and face and fight, and so far it's actually working out. Some gets first blood.
Cyber cages will stop any extra things, but TiGG, he doesn't see KOLER slip behind. The trade is there. 4v3, now made a 3v3 as Dre finds a second, but Som on site's good for at least one. eeiu good for the other. Now a 1v3. Footsteps will come through. bdog, no way, brother. He gets himself the first. Spike will be picked up. He has to stick this. Here comes the challenge. No time for the plant. That's a really smart play. effys was just running away the entire time. And Som, he serves a purpose, does his job, and will be tied up to a piece.
Yeah, just dashing in, giving up his life, because if you don't plant there, you just get killed and it's a defuse. You have to kill the Jett. You run out of time. It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't on the side of Beast Coast. And NRG, nice plays. Unfortunate, I suppose, to use the Hunter's Fury. I guess it worked out quite well because Som was able to face in a nice angle. It just seemed like they were in two minds of whether they play completely off the site, allow Beast Coast to use that utility and have it wasted effectively, give up the site, play retake, but they were also trying to face at the same time. Bladestorm's going to be open up on both sides. effys considering if he wants to peek around this corner even. Recon Bolt shows up one.
So I'm going to hold mid through tree. Catwalk is being pushed on by not just one, not just two, but three members. The spike, though, falls and Som gets away. Unfortunately, tagged more knives than he thought he needed to, so he's just, I think, down to 3 knives left. But regardless, yeah, he's just on 3. He's done well to find the first kill. Now to run it back from KOLER. Where's he going to go? Betters have placed their marks, and they're going to bet mid-map, and that's going to come through. Cloudburst will be there, and KOLER will only see a little bit of information. That's actually not bad, because you know that for NRG, you've trapped a couple players up top by this catwalk. Here comes the challenge through with the paranoia and the tailwind from jammyz. He'll find 1 kill, and now they're looking to encroach onto the A site. effys good for 1, but not a second. jammyz will clean everything up, and beastcoast will get another plant off.
KOLER's following through, though. I do really like the ultimate that he had because it has ushered beastcoast onto the point. Wasn't expecting YaBoiDre to be right around the corner, but it still works out in his favor. bdog having his ultimate. He has 2 shrouded steps as well, which is more terrifying for NRG. For KOLER, the ultimate works out well. It just forces beastcoast to dedicate to that play, and honestly, we could have even seen some sort of win that engagement with the right click. It was just more unfortunate and had to run right into jammyz ult there too. Really nice play, and NRG take the lead.
Seeing great things from both sides right now. And that's, I think, exactly what everyone was hoping for out of this matchup. Although if you're an NRG fan or a beastcoast fan, you're probably saying, no, we'd be fine taking the 3rd map convincingly, Shift. Hold your tongue. But I think for all the neutral fans that are out there, they're just looking for good Valorant. So far, we're getting 5 good rounds of it and looking like a potential 6 as both teams will be able to full forward up into full gun round coming up.
But the issue is this was similar at the start of Haven. And look what happened there. So NRG need to just sort of keep up that tempo. It's the same with beastcoast. Honestly, it could happen vice versa because that's exactly what happened on Split as well. It's pretty much just been very one-sided, straightforward affairs for not only these 2 teams, but the FaZe Clan series earlier on too. Showstopper now going to be used on the attack. They're going to be breaking on through to the A site. It's been played completely clean of NRG players, so this Showstopper is going to get 1. It gets Som's noggin of all things. The paint shell is going to create a bit more space, and this has gone so well for beastcoast.
Yeah, last second rocket fuse channel. effys needs to clean up this kill, but bdog is able to punish his teammate and get a lot of damage confirmed. beastcoast executes have been great since they gotten off pistols. The ultimate play has been solid. The rifling has been incredible. Even the combination of abilities as they're trying to execute have been near flawless. This is a great look for beastcoast.
It's again one of those instances if you're NRG where if you're playing off of the site to give beastcoast that space, then you need to do it. Even Som in that position is just, I feel like asking for it more than anything, because if there's a showstopper going to get thrown, it's going to be on that angle. So unfortunate more than anything from NRG to get caught out in that position. There is going to be some form of half buy, low buy, if anything, coming out of them. beastcoast have some ultimates to work with. The rolling from the coming online with the plant that came in from Elevate. I think if you're NRG, you're quite happy to see this map, this round lost even, not the map, but the round, if you can bait out some of these ultimates.
Well, Shock Dart will fly a bit errantly overhead. KOLER still sitting mid-map, has Som with him. Aldrone will be their companion as they try to move forward. A lot of information will just be denied by overall positioning. The sentry turret placed. Don't want to spend too many shots at that. But it will be deleted. jammyz with a wide peek. We'll find Som lurking just outside the archway. And KOLER really wants a pistol. He'll get it. Can he make use of it, though? Not going to happen. bdog for 2. And that's going to be a free B site coming through here for beastcoast if they want it.
effys with a stinger. There's not really going to be any guns on the ground you can pick up as all of beastcoast are alive. They're keeping hold of everything that they have so far. They are going to be met by Dre that's still in mid. Sticking from distance isn't really going to get too much done, and they know exactly where effys is going to be playing from. Not really worth the save in some cases, as you would imagine that NRG will have enough money going into the next round for a buy. Elevate's going to be on the high ground as he saw the peaks. A flawless round for beastcoast. They've been able to make a lot of stuff happen with these rounds, and NRG need to get a hold of this. Just 100%. This buy has to do something for them.
Oh, especially considering that you've got a couple of the key ultimates. KOLER again, you know, with the run it back ready to go. Vegas is going to open their betting tables as far as where you think he's going to hit this and at what point in the round he's going to try to hit this. But memes aside, yeah, this is a round that now you've got an operator for Som. You need to start taking advantage of this to try to turn this economy around because beastcoast are more than comfortable.
KOLER has the ultimate, hasn't used it instantly. And actually, effys gets a nice kill onto jammyz on A main.
It's a risky peek, though.
I do think that they are playing around their ultimates a lot more smarter on Ascent generally across the board for NRG. But TiGG has the lockdown now. He's going to clear this corner. Was considering using a nano swarm, but actually the aftershock is going to be the one used in. He aren't going to place this ultimate on here, but here it comes. Here comes the run it back. It is possibly going to get some information on mid. There is a player in a really awkward position, but doesn't quite catch where bdog is playing from. And it seems that the response from beastcoast is going to be potentially using this lockdown or even the rolling thunder that they have available. There's a nice little execute that can set up here. But NRG, quite wisely, playing off the site. They're going to be playing in tree. I wonder if both these ultimates get used by beastcoast here.
It would be, I think, hard-pressed to consider both coming, and even still, beastcoast are not confident that Y is clear, so that's going to be rolling thunder through the site. Again, NRG staying off will be unaffected by this whatsoever. No lockdown as of yet. The spike is now finally making its way on. Alarm bot will come through to stop KOLER from rotating in freely. And what is this position? It's a lockdown right on top of the site. You have to protect this, though, if you're beastcoast. And as KOLER falls, NRG will be shrugged off completely, and that will lead to a pretty free plant.
It just sort of dawned on me that they didn't plant up until that point. So NRG are going to be quite comfortable with that. At least they'll have like a good 40 seconds to go in for this retake. Breaking down the door is going to foster a bit of time. No ultimates on the attacking side to protect this. TiGG is going to be holding a very close off angle. And now NRG need to sort of ramp it up. They need to get a frag. They need to get an opening. The dash is going to come through, but Som is the one that goes down. daps can trade him out.
He's only able to find one so far. eeiu able to get another. 2v2. daps going to tap the spike. Elevate finds one from behind. Needs to find this kill, though. 1v1. daps not having a lot of time available. He's going to not actually trigger for the full defuse. So with that, he will essentially give up the round. And beastcoast take the pivotal round number 8. Go up 5-3. And NRG, well, they're without the run it back. And beyond that, they're without an economy that will allow them to match up for another gun round.
I don't think NRG were expecting that lockdown in that position. I mean, to be fair, it sounds like you weren't either. Like, it's such a nice spot because it forces NRG from a position where they were happy to let the execute to come in. They'll just play retake, but then the lockdown comes in a lot deeper, forces them to move even further back, and NRG are forced to make a tactical again. Like, it's whether a case of did they try and buy up and force with this? It's always these kind of rounds where the buy isn't the most ideal, that these tactical pauses seem to come in. And in a lot of cases, it has been just forcing up some of the guns and having a little bit of success. But beastcoast on these executes on the Ascent, at least, have been pretty stellar, honestly.
Yeah. And you have to give a lot of credit to beastcoast. There hasn't been a lot of time for them to be showcased on any kind of official broadcast. Yeah, they played well during the Pulse series for the most part. They got into the semifinals before they eventually lost in the upper finals to Mamba Mode Gaming. And outside of that, yeah, they were also in the Renegades Invitational. And then a couple of monthlies. That's really been about it for them so far up until this point. And even again, during this first strike qualifying period, they haven't gotten past the round of 32 until this run. So this is a first really solid look, I think, for a lot of people at this beastcoast squad who's been putting in the legwork, putting in the hours, and even though they haven't played up against the top-tier organizations yet, outside of only playing FaZe Clan,
where are you?
They're looking really solid, and they look like they've got a pretty well fleshed out playbook to go with it.
NRG at least having the ult advantage for this round. But it's whether a case of beastcoast can build some others up, as they have been rotating through them fairly consistently. It's been all beastcoast the last couple of rounds. Why not going to be ideal. If daps can get a frag, get that narrow fifth out, that'd be key, but forced off by some really good utility. Could have even potentially got the kill there, but KOLER gets first blood. KOLER gets 2, actually. He's still alive. He's still going to be fighting, but it's a 3 versus 3. The guns are still really not that good for NRG. But potential upgrades on the ground.
I was about to say, Dre needs to find a couple of kills. He's able to get one, TiGG the other. All the weapons that were left on the ground now, eeiu will have to come forward with. He's going to get some information off the initial owl drone, and TiGG, who was down to a single bullet, actually takes a challenge. That was a really risky call for TiGG, but it pans out for him. If TiGG loses that gunfight, though, that's a free weapon and a Hunter's Fury and a recon bolt that can be played with for eeiu. So nearly an opportunity for the 1v2, but TiGG with 3 kills, too good for him. He's 14-5 on the Killjoy.
He's having an absolute killer game. Som, however, the operator hasn't really come out much for him, to be fair, but he is 3-9. He's bottom fragging across the server. It's a very similar thing to Baby Bay as well with FaZe, where if he can't keep that economy in his favor to use the operator, you're not going to get much impact. He's going to be playing on B main. There's going to be no pressure from the East Coast on that side of the map. The A executes have been pretty good so far for beastcoast, so why on earth would you stop at this point? Yeah. Mid control is in their hands, NRG playing off it completely. The paranoia is going to come through onto A main. KOLER's going to try and peek it, but nothing else really comes from it. Key utility used without any real meaningful follow-up.
You really have to evaluate your risk versus reward here, I think, on every challenge for NRG. This is a round that you have to win. Absolutely have to. You've got 4 ultimates. In round 10, you're hoping to try to find a way to get at least up to 5 before you swap to the attacking half. And beastcoast are going to try to challenge Som. He's been good from this position before, but there's also been instances where he's missed the opening shot and it's led to his demise. This time, he gets baited out by the shoulder, has to back through, wants the second challenge. The flashes, the paranoias come through. Som has to retreat back to site and is going to get a little bit of help from eeiu mid-market. Up and over. No chance there. Som couldn't quite track down where jammyz had gone to. And as eeiu is fault line through mid, that's going to lead to a clean take for beastcoast again onto the B site.
Just 2 players now from NRG. It's all falling apart very quickly. First strike is teetering on the balance, it feels. We've still got so much of the game left to play, but it's starting to hurt more and more. jammyz gets the third.
Yikes.
daps is holding the Phantom. And it's just a key play there. You got Som holding it with the operator. beastcoast don't use any utility, just sort of peek it with the shoulder. Som misses the shots. And then core utility comes out beastcoast. The paranoia, the flash, it forces Som into a really awkward position. The execute was good. They punish him and everybody else that tries to help. It's just a case of, I think for NRG, I would like to see them push the extremities a little bit more. Instead of using utility to try and, you know, throw a curveball or a paranoia to sort of check around the corner, have 2 people push as much as possible, because beastcoast aren't really doing too much, and then suddenly they're surrounding NRG. And right now, NRG are just sort of playing off the sites, trying to be there when the execute comes through. But they are playing with so little intel on what beastcoast is trying to do. It's all reactionary. And beastcoast is so good with the utility that even if they're in the right place at the right time, a really good flash or a fault line or even an ultimate is going to take them off an angle, and they just can't readjust. They're constantly even until, and not in the sense that they're angry, just that they can't adjust.
Bold check from Som over through rafters. Not going to see anything at the catwalk, though. And everything will come to a pause. beastcoast looking to start to set things up. 1 point away from the lockdown is TiGG, and he is looking at this ultimate orb with wide eyes. Gonna make sure that he stays safe. Little nanoswarm set spot for all you Killjoy mains at home. Flashpoint also coming through, and look at that, a little exposure. It's a great little setup. Clip it, ship it, learn it, and the lockdown now earned.
Again, we didn't see beastcoast before over-dedicate with the ultimates. They just sort of made a play, even got a frag in mid, and then reset themselves to execute onto A. Potentially, yeah. It would be a pretty keen bait. It would work a lot quite well because NRG are 3 players over there. If it could force the Cypher to rotate, it's a big call from TiGG. But if it is a really good bait, it also gets that Hunter's Fury out too.
Yep.
From eeiu. If he falls for this hook, line, and sinker, he doesn't. He's actually sort of held it on. No, he has. Oh, this is a disaster for NRG. He knows exactly what's up. beastcoast have made their way onto the site with very little resistance. daps can get warm, but he gets traded out.
Som has got the Bladestorm. He's going to be the next one forward. Have to wait for help, though. Absolutely need to wait for help. This is still doable in the 4v4. Weaponry's not the greatest, but with this Bladestorm, you can have your way with this part of the site. Curveball being set up. Fault line will come through. That's going to stall things for a little bit longer. Aftershock will also push players back, and the paint shell's behind it. Again, so much area denial, and with that, Dre goes up top. He only finds 1 kill, but again, he's killing off so much time. Now Som to the Bladestorm. He's good for 1, not a second. Elevate and take with the trades, and beastcoast again execute, this time off of a successful bait play off the lockdown from B.
Last round in the hash.
And not only does it work out so well in that round, they have this nice rotation of using the lockdown as bait. Now they have a rolling thunder to go to. NRG are playing with so little information that it's almost paranoid. It was a save, So it's curious, I suppose, if you're NRG, you're in that position where you aren't buying up much. The Killjoy ultimate comes out.
Right there.
Is it worth it? Like, obviously the bait means that it wasn't, but like,
Get out of my way.
was it also a good call to just not do anything at that point? Obviously, hindsight's going to say 2020, but NRG are going to try FaZe. This is more like it from some. We haven't really seen much of this push. We saw Mav do it a lot for FaZe Clan. And it worked out very well for him, at least.
Was able to find one. That's the Bladestorm shut down early. KOLER's going to get a free kill into bdog, who is trialing something. We'll say that he was just trying something. So
Experimental, yeah.
5v3 here in favor of NRG, trying to close off this half with some sort of a silver lining.
Off your feet!
Rolling Thunder's going to come through. Paranoia to counter. effys trying to hold his life. Flashpoint's not going to find much as there's a cloud burst there, and that's another ultimate that comes through for beastcoast without much success at all.
Again, that was a little bit of a bait. Using it to sort of push through mid and go B. Elevate never truly dedicated to it, just used a lot of utility to start firing, but he's still there. Hoping that effys is going to peek for a bit of information. Som is there to sort of walk around him. Nice play from NRG, a lot more proactive, even if there are a few blind spots there. This straight man just to slip through. Pitch shot's going to be good, at least to move some off that angle. He tries to go for the shot, but daps looking out for him. 4-8 from NRG. This has to be a really good attacking half for them.
Switching sides.
Not exactly the results that NRG were looking for out of their opening defense. But we've seen wilder things, even in this particular matchup. But for Beast Coast, as far as how their defense has been, it's been their stronger half here, Ryan. 60% win rate on their defense to the 50% win rate on their attack. They're going to be feeling pretty confident about pulling away 8 rounds on their offense.
Defending half against Luminosity wasn't great for Beast Coast. And it was good against Built by Gamers. I guess that's probably the bigger sort of result that they have going for them. But that game went to overtime. It would be pretty awesome if this went to overtime. Like I don't want to curse it. I think that's why I started whispering. But
is that the way that works? If you whisper, it doesn't actually.
It'd be a hell of a series. It's been great so far, but there's just been so many like big blows from either side, like very strong strikes more than anything. TiGG spots one. The spray is more body shots onto KOLER, who's going to be able to heal himself up from that utility. Sitting back as they're trying to execute.
Long range shots here from daps. He's going to see a couple of contestants, and NRG are just going to execute to B, and daps has to take the long way around. effys has got the spike, though. He's going to be late here, so Beast Coast with this wrap to B main, they're going to go through uncontested. daps doesn't get here in time to actually read this play in full, so there's going to be some question marks lingering. Big 1v1 here. Beautiful double tap from daps. Som, he needs to be good for at least 1 kill. He's not going to be able to, but daps pinching is able to find 1 more. So now all of a sudden for Beast Coast in a 2v4 situation, your pinch has been completely foiled and you're just hoping for a couple of just gut check kills.
It's keeping the attention actually of where YaBoiDre is. The lurk is going to be good from daps just to make it that he can't focus and concentrate on what's ahead of him. He has to look behind. The more lurking, if they could even just sort of punish these small guns out of Beast Coast at this point, it'd be ideal. But Dre is actually getting a lot of these exit frags. effys cleans up house. 5-8 to NRG. Still a long way to go, but the right step forward.
No force buy here for Beast Coast. A couple of upgrades from the normal classic pistols, so a round in which NRG would love to see go 6 to 8. And how about this? KOLER and effys will actually go into Vandals. So at worst case scenario here, even if you lose some of these members for NRG, it'd be great if you could keep those Vandals in hand, because then if you do have to force a couple of repurchases, you'll still have some ARs that could match up against Beast Coast in future rounds. So we'll see how things unfold. NRG looking to stack towards B main, at least initially. Spy cam is also placed, but for Beast Coast defensively, they've got 4 members in the vicinity.
Little steps making their way in. NRG going to be facing off against a couple of these scary guns in the back of Boathouse. They are starting to stretch their legs a little bit more. It feels like they've got room to breathe. And with any luck, we start to see a bit more confidence and tenacity coming out of NRG because of it. But of course, spreading out too far means that you could get isolated, and all Beast Coast need is one kill, one good upgrade, and it could all start to slip apart. eeiu ready to go in for the recon, but you would imagine that the execute is going to strike by the time that it hits the back. KOLER actually, I thought, would be running out with some of the flashes, but it's just use as little utility as possible. YaBoiDre is going to let him walk on by. He is going to be checked in by effys. They have to try and uproot these three players that are going to be really awkward about it on the side of Beast Coast.
And they lose their flashes. TiGG not going to find anything. A gamble stack for Beast Coast was predicted correctly, but comes away with nada. So NRG will come through with the flawless offensive round. The spike will also be planted. And Beast Coast not getting many kills are not going to be nearly as comfortable coming into the expected gun round for the third, as you're going to get a bulldog out of Elevate, light armor from TiGG, and Dre has to zero out his eco completely just to try to find a way to earn the weaponry to be contesting this next round.
I suppose if you're Beast Coast, things are looking more awkward than anything, but nothing to be really too concerned about. All the Killjoy utility over on Tree, it's going to be difficult for NRG to make their way through that. But I guess if they try and force too many people through that bottleneck on A main, it's going to be very keenly watched. And NRG do have like space and movement to make stuff happen, and Beast Coast don't look as convincing on the defense, to be honest. There's a lot of moving around, a lot of where should I particularly play from at this point. bdog is going to spot some stuff. It's going to smoke A main at this point. A lot of utility starting to come through. He gets broken in before he can even do anything about it.
Big shots coming through. daps able to upgrade from the Spectre to a Phantom. This has gone wrong here for Beast Coast. daps another elimination. jammyz is going to try to contest if he can. Shock Dart will hit him square in the chest, and KOLER will punish. So Elevate, last one left alive. He will just back away and maybe hope for an exit or two. At worst case scenario, he'll just try to hold on to this bulldog.
Nice execute, and Beast Coast, I mean, I gave NRG a bit of a ragging for it on their half too, where it's like they're trying to make a decision on how they want to approach stuff. I guess maybe bdog didn't realize that the position that he was in was as dangerous as it potentially was. I haven't really seen that kind of play happen before. But NRG aren't going to necessarily complain about it. They are one round behind after losing so many in a row against Beast Coast. And Beast Coast have to save.
We're going to get 8-8 here very quickly into this half. So as soon as this round comes through, pending it comes through, I should say, you can essentially wipe the table, and we'll go into this with a fresh look with NRG on offense, and it'll be a gun round coming through for round 17. But let's not count our chickens before they hatch here, because anything could still happen. We've seen it before from Beast Coast. They'd love to have it happen once more here. NRG getting aggressive to the middle of the map with 2 members, and if this gets red, there is the potential to send out flashes from Elevate, and you really could find a couple of free weapon upgrades right here if you're Beast Coast and you time this right.
TiGG just jiggle peeking. He knows roughly where the Jett is from now, but he doesn't know that there's going to be a couple of other players lined up to sort of get that information. B main is being contested. TiGG is the one that has to face them yet again. He's having to diner dash between these 2 spots, and whilst he's looking at one, he has to help with the breach. Gradually, NRG are trying to take space at least, but more than anything, it's forcing Beast Coast to try and face him in fights that Beast Coast probably shouldn't be taking. eeiu gets the first kill onto Elevate. This bookie could find trouble, but he hasn't spotted a player beneath him.
Nanostorm will stall this. bdog does find a kill. That's going to be a weapon picked up for Beast Coast in this 4v4. Running back is also coming through the middle of the map. TiGG will fall, as that was a connection happening again right through Main Street. So NRG with the numbers advantage will also get the spike planted. Dre, though, picking up a Phantom, is looking to make his way on. And KOLER, who's trying to stay safe through B main, means that this is going to be a defense that is split 2 for 2. But a nice tag off the spike. It will be the end of jammyz. KOLER finding another. And Beast Coast last hope for a 1v4 results to bdog with a bucky. And he's just going to, again, try to play for a couple of exit kills.
Just gets the shoulder of effys, who actually doesn't take any damage at all, really. So little, in fact, that NRG have a solid round there. The economy now in the hands of Beast Coast. So I'm not really the kind to be pulling out the attack operator. Bottom fragging still for his team. He has overtaken Elevate, though, across the server, but the rest of his team is starting to show up. KOLER now really starting to feel comfortable. It was a really good run it back to execute onto that B site. Neural Theft and From the Shadows good to go on the attack. Beast Coast now on the end of a routing, I suppose, with multiple maps in a row. This is going to be through mid. Is it actually going to catch the right corner? No, but jammyz actually is the one that gets the kill. Daps
it's awkward.
hidden, gets that frag, trades it out, and suddenly NRG have the lead again.
That's such an awkward moment right there, getting hit by the trap wire. Not enough time in the rocket fuse. Just throws it out blindly over to the catwalk. Nothing going to be there. effys is going to get a plant off. Elevate is able to clear up tree, but watch this lurk from daps. As soon as this Cloudburst expires, he's going to have a look at 2 players, and he's able to get 1, which is valuable. So now everyone knows where jammyz is going to be playing from. Trying to take a challenge up close and personal as he catches Som low on ammunition. This is still doable. Shock Dart will make it impossible, though, as eeiu places it beautifully. And NRG take a pivotal round here in a full gun round. Beast Coast will likely go back to a save. And NRG, this has been a flawless attacking half for them so far.
What a time to show up. The Hunter's Fury is good to go from eeiu, and I was wondering when the tactical timeout may come out for Beast Coast. It is going to be now. After losing 6 rounds in a row, it's their turn to have a bit of a talking to and working out how they can play around this. It's yet again a buy where considerations aren't going to be met. The Stinger is out on TiGG, so he might be wanting to try and buy up and have a set play in particular, but for the most part, it seems to just be more of a mental reset. You know, have this eco, not really put too much pressure on the round following, but sometimes even just a kind of like, let's just take 30 seconds to just talk about what's going wrong, get stuff off of your chest so we can work around it, learn to help each other in this game. NRG, I wonder how they're feeling considering they were in the more depressing state before.
Oh, sure.
And managed to turn it around, and they're now thinking they have a second to go. Oh, there's a lot of pressure here. We gotta win this. This is the last game in this best of 3. If we go out, there's no first strike for us. So it's an interesting one.
I'm a bit surprised that they don't take the tactical reset from the last round, where it's tied 8-8, and you've got a gun round coming through with ultimates. They didn't really seem to consider at least that option initially. And Som with the operator will find first blood at jammyz, who, that was a double updraft play. Look at where that blue X is.
Yeah.
That's an updraft play on A. Som is all the way back by his spawn, and he still finds that connection.
I mean, it's difficult for jammyz to make that call because Som hadn't picked up the operator until then. I would have loved to have seen that personally, but, you know, you can close your eyes and imagine it. It'd probably be even cooler than that, but a nice read from NRG. I just hope that 30-second timeout for Beast Coast wasn't, this is the play, and it immediately gets shut down from NRG.
Right,
that would be
imagine.
so unfortunate, but it seems more like the bigger play. Silence pretty much across the server at this point. NRG haven't really done much. They're all stacking up on mid. It's just going to be the alarm bot more than anything that's going to catch them in this position. The Eldron might force out the rotate from Elevate. It does so, but he also might be in a good spot to keep an eye on mid at this point as the split onto B is going to come through.
Nothing with the Bucky. Som onto site.
30
Spike coming
seconds
behind it. Elevate's good for 1, but would have needed to find at least 2 to make things interesting. TiGG is actually tracking behind this, and he might actually catch timing. No, just barely not. Say eeiu is nearby. This is a Stinger upgrade to a Phantom. No? Okay. Decides to want to stay to the Stinger. That'll be the end of his life as eeiu finds the free kill. And now it's just down to Dre, and he might just play for exit kills here through B main.
You got stuff to look forward to if you're Beast Coast, however. Rolling Thunder would be good. But Bladestorm was used in the last round. It didn't really get anything for jammyz from the shadows. NRG, though, having plenty to work with themselves at this point, too. I really don't think the ultimates are going to be the deciding factor, but playing around elevates Rolling Thunder would be key, considering it's the only one that they'll have across NRG not running the breach. YaBoiDre is able to get 1, surprisingly, as Som picks up his 3rd. Did he drop the operator? He did.
Yeah, a bit puzzling. So that won't be a tool coming forward, but 10-8, the current tally. NRG building momentum. And to stop that, Beast Coast, again, must-win round coming forward here just to keep things tight. You've got a Rolling Thunder in the mix to potentially help you do just that. And jammyz will now go uncontested with an operator. So those are your keys to success immediately here if you're Beast Coast.
jammyz now in a position that we saw Omen struggling with the operator, pushed off with all of the utility facing. But for NRG, it's not going to be too much focus on the utility. Just a couple of bodies there in this spot. jammyz spots the tripwire, which I guess is a good suggestion that NRG aren't intended to go in that direction, at least for now. A couple of players on catwalk in mid. Don't know the elevates here, of course, but like the Rolling Thunder might get baited out if they're not careful. From the shadows, does get used on the defense. Isn't going to find much. jammyz gets first blood. That's a nice key pick. They just got to follow through with the rest of this round.
The setup for TiGG is aggressive here in tree, and that's exactly how NRG are starting to position. Sentry turret comes through. There's the nanostorms. Everyone's caught in it. They have to push through this. And who's waiting? It's TiGG, but he's only good for one. So yes, he gets a lot of damage in, but some, as he cleans up the second kill, leads to NRG now looking at the site more elongatingly. So as now you've got Beast Coast rotating through, elevate, considering the Rolling Thunder, gonna pop it immediately. bdog stays safe from it. The plant will be denied for a small time. The Bladestorm also gonna come through as some will actually die to fall damage of all things. Aftershock will clear out hell. The fault line also connects onto the bdog, so a free kill gets awarded over. effys has to eventually stick for the spike plant, but he's gonna late commit to go over to B. And that will allow for the plant to come through just in the nick of time, but in the process, he loses his teammate.
Spike planted.
Speaking of which, the Rolling Thunder actually knocks some up into the air. He doesn't glide, and he's high enough that he takes full damage and dies, in case you're wondering what happens there. This is a nice flank that's actually coming through from effys. A lot of marketplace control, but are they going to spot him in this spot? The trade might be near enough instant. No, he separates him up, has a shrouded step. Might overthink this a little bit, though. jammyz is going to check him. He's going to stick the defuse, actually. At this point, why not? Get him to come to you. He's going to be looking down the angle. He's going to get halfway. effys, is he going to take the fight? At this point, there's not much time. jammyz just might have it. It's so key if Beast Coast do. They're still in the game.
Oh, my goodness.
Ooh.
I mean, that is just textbook play coming out, really, for both sides. It's a bold call, I think, in the first place. For effys to sit there and say, I'm going to commit to this, and go ahead and make the play over to B, it essentially signs the death sentence on your teammate who's going to be stuck in a 1v2 with no way to rotate out. But then jammyz, getting it to halfway in the first place, reading the situation again perfectly, allows them a chance to essentially play with time as effys had to continue to shoulder, and then the one challenge that he wins is the last one that he would have had an opportunity really to find the kill and get the defuse. So 10-9, Beast Coast still alive. NRG still in a position where they can purchase, though, and jammyz is looking to get a little bit frisky through the side of B main, but it looks like he will mostly keep that feistiness contained towards this cubby. Wants to see if he can find somebody going for an orb, and that won't occur here, so NRG will stay safe from the early aggression for now. Beast Coast looking forward. Paint shells is beautiful, and behind that, Dre finds a second. Great moments here for Beast Coast trying to tie it up 10-10.
Yeah, NRG weren't able to really use any utility to sort of protect themselves in that scenario. Hunter's Fury available from NRG, but I don't know, most likely in a case you're going to save it for the lockdown that's going to get planted. They are going to be executing onto A. Beast Coast have a lot of utility here that's going to at least sort of catch them out in the process, but that's a big kill onto TiGG. It was either a wallbang or a very narrow peek coming out of him. That lockdown isn't going to be available, but the showstopper is. It's going to be fired. It's going to miss. 17 HP is YaBoiDre. He goes down to some. NRG are pulling this back.
For the retake, Beast Coast stacking up towards heaven for now. 2 nanoswarms were placed, but it's not going to make a difference now as the Killjoy's off the table. Fault line comes through. bdog busting through the doors. Smoke also being played, but the paranoia is really well found. eeiu will find 1 kill. Now it's just down to the last 2 members topside heaven. There should be mutual information, though, for both parties, as NRG are going to know that they're positioned this way. Elevate finds 1 kill. He stays alive. Watching long as jammyz, but he's not able to win the gunfight. It would have turned things into a 1v1, but it's going to be NRG stealing away a 3v5 round, and it puts them on 11.
that is the kind of round that takes you to first strike, honestly. Like, NRG behind with the players, played around it perfectly. Beast Coast, that is a big loss with TiGG going down in that engagement. The lockdown could have changed up stuff. And even Dre missing the showstopper, it was a bit flustered because he was such low health. It might cost Beast Coast here. Their buy is an awkward one. NRG are in pole position to at least take this to match point.
I don't know if I agree with the force buy here for Beast Coast. Getting 3 in a row off of a purchase with the ultimates you have coming available is plausible. This is a risky call. If you win this, you're in a great spot if you're Beast Coast, but if you lose this, the game might be over.
Can you go into scoreboard real quick just before it comes in? No, they can't buy next round either.
No.
Running back is going to be used. KOLER, if he could get a kill, he's got this on lockdown. Speaking of lockdown, TiGG is ready to go, and that's a big kill. Elevate is taken out.
Spike planted.
Hangs in the balance now for Beast Coast. Oh, the Killjoy gets used.
Oh, not having flashes is so dangerous. eeiu's going to deny this lockdown. And the gut check call at the end of the game, you're going to have pondering thoughts about this one if you're BC. A 5v3, and because they can't purchase, they're forced to save. No, this has all gone wrong. Beast Coast, you've played 19 incredible rounds, and this one decision might be their entire first strike hopes.
It's never been so key that TiGG saves a ghost. bdog with a bulldog. This is gonna have to be the thriftiest. Oh, TiGG! If it can get some damage in, it's not inherently bad, but he can't. Flawless from NRG. Series point.
Match point.
You could say tournament point to an extent. NRG have just been through the mill today, as have we. And it's a full buy. No ultimates, but a full buy. Up against Beast Coast, whatever they can muscle in together. No ultimates are going to save them. They've got to bring out some brilliant plays, or their first strike career is over.
NRG trying to avoid being the first major organization name to not make it to the closed qualifiers here. Everybody else able to essentially do that. Luminosity, Pittsburgh Knights, FaZe Clan, Gen G, NRG looking like they very well could be the next ones up. It's going to have to be an incredible play from Dre. If jammyz is there for at least one trade, but as he tries to pull the Bladestorm out, KOLER finds the kill. It's a 3v4. NRG still going to take their time. They recognize the advantage they have, and they do not want to let this opportunity go away.
How did Beast Coast play this? The Killjoy utility is still live and good on B. It's actually going to be augmented by Elevate. He's going to be playing from the site. bdog has a lot of information here, but he has no idea whether NRG are going to be pushing up mid until the alarm bot. Mostly if they're going to push through tree. effys is going to keep an idea to see if they've pushed, but honestly, Beast Coast haven't really done that. NRG never really did it on their defense either. Yeah. This is going to be a B split. Beast Coast are in a nice spot to try and counter this. They need to get this first kill here. They have a good amount of information to work with. It's all on you, TiGG.
Has to find at least
30
one.
seconds left.
2 would be great. Shoulder comes through. There's the first. Going for the second. Not enough ammunition. Elevate, though. He'll pick up where he left off, but it's a 2-for-2 trade, leading things down to bdog. 1v2. Knows the players nearby, but eeiu will punch NRG's ticket to the closed qualifiers November the 20th on UMG Gaming.